there's a complexity to the concepts in DBT that I think can really appeal to the 2E profile. If you do a Google search on DBT, do not be alarmed at the fact that you'll see a lot of DBT for kids and teens who are suicidal or engaging in self-injurious behaviors. That is true. That is where this treatment approach started, with some of the most acute profiles of emotional behavioral dysregulation in kids and teens who either had suicidal attempts or engaged in self-injurious behavior. So all of that is true. And your child does not have to have that profile in order to potentially benefit from the concepts of DBT. The core concept is the dialectic. And what that says is basically, what is a dialectic? Two opposing truths can be true. So you have to find the balance. And the beauty of this is that it honors both perspectives, the two different perspectives, which honestly, oftentimes, I think in the parenting equation, it's like the perspective of the child and the perspective of the parent. Both of their experiences are valid, and DBT allows for that, and in fact, states that to be true. Similarly, there is a balance here. In addition to balancing perspectives, there is both the honoring and the experience, the emotional experience, and accepting and validating their anxiety, their frustration, their overwhelm. And also, we need to change. We need to move forward. We need to find better ways as well. So both are true, that you validate and you work to change. So the tricky thing about invalidating comments is I don't think any of us as parents try to invalidate our children. It's not why we got in this game, but we do it all the time. So it's okay. All of us have done it. Think about the times your child has been having a meltdown and you're like, it's okay. It's no big deal. Like, you don't need to worry about this. Like, I'm not worried. Your teacher's not worried. This isn't the end of the world. So all of those are actually invalidating statements, even though your intentions are incredibly pure. It's not something to keep in mind. You're not agreeing or approving their emotional state. You're just saying, I hear you, I see you, right? And the reason why we do that is because that helps the other person regulate their own emotions. If you just say you're overreacting, right? You've probably said that to a significant other or you've heard that from your significant other. That's not helpful. That does not help you calm down, right? Our kids are no different. They want to be seen and heard as well. So it allows for that kind of assistance with the regulation, like I feel seen and heard. And it teaches them, you don't want to teach them to not trust their emotions, right? If you constantly say it's not a big deal, why can't you just calm down? You're overreacting. What you're teaching them is not to trust their bodily response. That's not great, right? We want them to know and trust their emotional experience, and we want to make it clear that they have to work towards some change, right? The other concept you'll hear, which we've talked a little bit about with the dialectic, is just kind of the idea of walking the middle path, which I think is a nice way of describing basically how you've got to balance the two perspectives, both basically the teen's desires and also the parent's concerns, interests, desires as well. So it allows for a lot of like compromise talk, which is especially helpful for your adolescent crew. The goal of DBT is the wise mind. And so what you'll see here is that the reasonable mind, right, is what you know in your calm state to be true. Your emotional mind is what you feel when you are not in your calm state, right? It's your wave of emotions. The goal is always the wise mind, which is basically, yes, I know this and I feel this. So this is what I'm going to do. So you're able to take both perspectives and problem solve accordingly, right? So you learn to trust kind of both inputs to then become a more a reasonable problem solver who also has some emotional insight.